celebrating, allowed Micah Martin to catch up. Bad job by Chris Cheatham.
And here comes Jason McDaniel flying around the pack, number 36. They say he's the fastest skater in the WSL. Martin and Jason McDaniel doing a good job winding through the pack. Micah Martin in the lead, but Jason McDaniel leaps over one of the Texas Rustlers. And now finally Martin and McDaniel together cut off the jam. 3 points for Micah Martin, 2 points for Jason McDaniel. And yes, indeed, Jason McDaniel is back.
Well, and Jason McDaniel, this is the first chance we've had him pressed into duty. He and Mark Weber are roommates, Ken. They're great friends on and off the track. They live together. Mark Weber was devastated by the loss of him early in the season. You're going to see him really play for his Nevada Hot Dice and pave the way a lot for Jason McDaniel here from Nevada Hot Dice.
This is the absolute last thing the Texas Rustlers needed, was to let an opponent jump out to a big lead. That's exactly what the Hot Dice have done. Talk about a big lead right now. Vinny Mormondo flying around the track. So far, the only jammer out. Now, finally, Sigmund Williams is able to break free, but it's Vinny Mormondo, 5'8", 140. But you see the speed of Sigmund Williams, how quickly he closed the gap. He was almost a full half a lap back, and the big elbow takes down Mormondo. Now, Sigmund Williams, 6'1", 165, tall and lanky speedster, that has the opportunity to put his team back in this one. But Mark Weber dropping back to block out, as is Richard Brown. The two, Weber and Brown, do a great job of rotating at the back of the pack, keeping their eye on the opposing jammer. And so far, Mark Weber has needed no help whatsoever as he's handling Sigmund Williams all by himself. The other jammer's not even able to get out. Finally, a body block by Mark Weber. Now, wait a minute. Richard Brown goes back, goes right to the knee of Sigmund Williams.
Well, and Sigmund Williams, along with Brian Gallagher, had just represent the frustration of the Texas Rustlers. Ken, these guys have all the talent in the world, but they've never been able to put it together. Sigmund Williams has unbelievable speed. He's a big son of a gun. You saw some of that against Vinny Mormondo, but then you see him totally annihilated by Mark Weber and taken advantage of by little Richard Brown.
Now, Buddy Atkinson, let me ask you, what can Richard Brown be thinking of? His team is a leading 11-3, a deliberate attack, trying to injure. He goes to the penalty box, and now suddenly Texas has a man advantage.
He's basically trying to intimidate this other team a great deal, and it's not going to work because I think they're going to be outskated here.
We will find out. It's finally breaking through for the Texas Rustlers. This is 45, Craig Fisher, along with Jason McDaniel. Craig Fisher shows a lot of potential, but sometimes that's the worst description in that he's never fulfilled any of the potential. We'll see if he can right now. Jason McDaniel, and Fisher says McDaniel right out over the railing. I think McDaniel got caught a little hard. Remember, he's just back from a broken collarbone, still a little unfamiliar with going around the back track, and the lack of that experience certainly cost McDaniel right there. Now remember, McDaniel is part of it, so Fisher already picked up a point, or should be picking up a point, for going past Jason McDaniel. Now McDaniel is able to get back up on the track, and that's the second time he goes by him, so 2 points for Craig Fisher, passing Jason McDaniel as we run out of time in the jam.
And Buddy Atkinson Jr. talked about the return of Jason McDaniel, that he's a hard worker. Well, one of the things he's got to do is get some physical shots to his body that he's not used to get his sea legs back, so to speak, Ken. Well, shots like that from Fisher, he's going to get it back pretty quick, and he will soon materialize as a great player here that they expect to these Nevada Hot Dice.
We'll see if the Hot Dice can prevent the Texas Rustlers from getting any future momentum going in this one. It's been a long while since we've seen any offensive production from Texas, and I think they're just going to run out of time in this one. Micah Martin breaks free, but time runs out, and the Nevada Hot Dice lead this one by a score of 11-5, and Hawk once again flashes of brilliance for Texas, can't put anything together.
Well, and I think this was epitomized early as little Richard Brown is not willing to let this the sleeping dog lie as he goes after Bill Daly, one of the largest men on the track. But you saw that Mark D'Amato came out of the stands to his aid, Ken.
And now Sean Atkinson is involved. We've talked about the alliance between Mark D'Amato and Richard Brown. Sean Atkinson coming out of the stands. He had evidently had enough. Oh, Daddy, it's all breaking loose here. It's halftime. It's 11-5. Hot Dice. We'll be back. Score, the Nevada Hot Dice 11, the Texas Rustlers 5. We're at halftime. Welcome back, everyone, to RollerJam Arena. I'm Ken Resick, along with Lee Merriman and Buddy Atkinson Jr. About where we expected, the Nevada Hot Dice are off to a big start, led by the game's leading scorer, Shea Brown, who picked up 4 points on her own and assisted on Mindy Smith's other 2 points. Closing out the scoring for the Nevada Hot Dice, Micah Martin had 3, Jason McDaniel 2. For the Texas Rustlers, it was Tink Miller coming up with 2 points, Craig Fisher with 2 points, and Brian Gallagher with 1 point. Now, buddy, what does Texas need to do to get back into this one?
I'll tell you what they need to do is use their big guns, Miller, Heisner, Johnston, and Gallagher, Fisher, and Williams, and get in there and start banging away. These are good skaters. They are dang good skaters, and they can do the job.
I don't think there's any question. They've got the skilled players. They just need to put it all together. And certainly, Hawk, Jason McDaniel came into this game with a big buildup. Some people questioned it, but boy, he answered those Sooners very quickly.
Well, we talked about the collarbone and the loss of Jason McDaniel earlier in the season, but I've just got to take my hat off to little Richard Brown. We know he's a Looney Tune when he's on the track, but this guy during the week teaches his players fundamentals. You see Micah Martin taking down Chris Cheadle with, we always talk too much about it, but powerful play coming out of Micah Martin. And a little bit later, that Jason McDaniel you just mentioned, he may be coming back from a collarbone, but he's not afraid to bring some heat to Craig Fisher.
And certainly we talk about the women's play here in the World Skating League, and believe you me, they can get as rough and tough as the men. Take a look.
Hair-pulling, cat-fighting mistresses of mayhem, the bad girls of the WSL have clawed their way into the spotlight of the bank track. Led by the Duchess of Destruction, Heather the Gun Gunnin', the New York Enforcers, Sisters of Suffering, embody pure nastiness.
The prettier their face is, the more pleasure I get out of smacking it on the track.
These women of wrath won't stop until they've destroyed their competition.
All the precious little Barbie dolls in this league best be prepared to get their arms ripped off.
Another gang of savage seductiveness of the Nevada Hot Dice Showgirls. Blessed with both beauty and brawn,
I have no problem looking this good and kicking ass at the same time.
the Showgirls stomp skaters and strut their stuff. Don't mess with the bad girls of the WSL.
Well, as you just saw, the Nevada Showgirls may look very appealing, but they get down and dirty, and they are standing by with our Broadway Danny Wolf. Danny?
All right, Showgirls, you guys enjoying a 6-point lead at halftime. Now, let me start with you. You smile at the camera.
Hey, because, baby, these girls are nothing. They got to go back to the ranch because they stink. Woo! I think they took some of the cows with them today. That's what I think.
Let me ask you, Shea Brown, in the first half, you guys skated great. I guess Renee Blevins, Laura Heiser, Talisa Miller, you've never skated against this team before, but you guys were all over them.
Doesn't matter. They suck. I mean, there's no competition for us. They need to go back to Texas where they belong. That's all I got to say.
We're talking with the Showgirls. It's halftime. They're up by 6 points. Back to you, Cannon Hawk.
One thing for certain, the Nevada Showgirls are, 1, never at a loss for words, and 2, have an uncanny ability to always know where the camera is. Now, in that